Thank you for joining us here at Doctor's Nutrition. We got a really interesting article today to talk about.
Yeah, it's actually just came out last week.
Yeah, it's everybody knows that I shouldn't be sitting, I should be standing, right?
Right? That's what they've said for years, that if you have a sitting job, that you should have a way of standing up and getting the standing desk. And it has been part of the craze.
Yes, it has. The standing desk. Actually, this has come out of the University of Sydney, so from the land down under. They've told us now that, they did a study, and this is not like
It wasn't a short study.
No, this
and
is
it wasn't
not like
just a few people either. It was a bunch.
It was over a period of 7 to 8 years,
Yep.
and there's 83,000 people.
Yeah.
So it's quite a big study. Okay, so that makes it offers a little bit more validity to it than what you'll see in some of the other studies and so on. But what they found was, and I think the takeaway, that there was no increased or improving in cardiovascular health from standing.
Right. So the study, when they looked at all the parameters, they looked at it did not help cardiovascular health to stand as opposed to sitting.
Correct.
And it did show there was some detrimental effects in some of the other circulatory problems like varicose veins.
And DVTs.
And DVTs. That's a big one. I mean, people always know that, like, if you're riding or sitting or whatever, you got to get up and walk around to keep down blood clots.
Right.
So they're finding that if you just stand in the same spot for long periods of time, it's the same risk. So what when we read this article, the takeaway from it is you need to move. I mean, you actually need to move because
you really
standing is similar to sitting.
Yeah, when you start talking about, and we get folks in all the time we get a lot of them in who sit a lot.
Yep.
And they still have varicose veins and so on. And so the key is they really, really, really should get up and move around.
Right. Moving around, I think everybody agrees that moving does keep everything going.
Yeah.
So if you want to move around, and if you want to, now it probably would be hard to do, I would think, but you can get those little treadmills now that go under a standing desk.
Yeah.
Now that would probably be good because you're exercising while you're working, but it depends on what you do and how hard that would be to do. I mean, so I'm not sure.
The jury's still out on that.
You just don't
one,
want to fall and hurt yourself.
Right. I mean, that would be bad. I know myself a lot of times if you talk to me on the phone, I've usually got a headset on so I can get up and walk around because I do. I'll get up, walk, go get a file out of a cabinet or whatever, or go get a product off the shelf to look at the exact dosages or whatever I'm looking at. So I move around a lot. And you
I
do
too. I'm always moving.
We both do. And I think that's just kind of part of our
And we
nature.
wear really good shoes because that's really important for people that do stand or walk at work, especially on concrete floors. Make sure you have good shoes because that plays a huge role in your back and the pressure that goes on your whole body.
It does, and if you're going to stand, because we get these, like I say, we get a lot of folks in with varicose veins, et cetera, and that's a sign of that the veins are a little bit weak. Okay, so how do we strengthen those veins?
Right,
That's
we actually
key.
now I have over the years. There's tons of people come in that have jobs where they have to stand.
They have to.
We're talking about people
Retail,
that
whatever,
they're not doing it for health reasons. They're doing it because that's their job. And they have to stand in one spot.
Right.
They always are complaining about leg pain and leg pressure and pain below the knees. And some people have varicose veins. One thing we've used for years is the one we use is called Diavasc. It is a combination of your heparin methylcalcone and your diazepam.
Right.
Works wonders on the venous system.
It's not really used so much here in the States.
Yeah, in Europe, it's a prescription drug.
Well, even in South America.
Yeah.
Because I recently, a couple of years ago, I guess now, had a gentleman who had flown to like Argentina, from the United States to Argentina, quite a long flight. And when he got off the plane, he took about 4 steps, he said, oh my God, the pain in his leg. So immediately he goes to the local doctor, they check him out, no kidding, DVT, deep vein thrombosis. So they started treating him, and they started treating him with a blood thinner and diazepam.
Yeah.
So, and they told him, the doctor there told him, said, now, when you get back to the States, just continue the therapy, So he goes back and he sees his doc here when he gets back to the United States, says, here, this is what I'm on. They say, well, okay, we can give you the blood thinner, that's no problem. I don't know what that other stuff is. Let's talk about diosmin.
Then they called us, and
Yeah.
of course,
Well,
we've been using it for years.
He'd been around to every pharmacy, you name it. He'd been everywhere. And he said, have you ever heard of this stuff? I said, yeah, sure, it's right here. And I handed him a bottle. He said, you don't know how many places I've been looking for this. I said, well, it's used quite a bit in like European medicine. They still use it a lot. And so do they in South America too, because they're looking for something that will actually strengthen those veins. And, of course, we always suggest, even if you are standing or
you
if
do
you're
have
sitting,
a job that's standing, we always suggest taking the Diavasc because it does actually help strengthen, and it's also used for hemorrhoids.
Yes.
I mean, hemorrhoids is another thing. It is weak vessels.
It's just a weak
so
vein.
anything that's a weakened vessel, it can work really good in.
Yeah.
And we do get some really good benefits with it.
Now, speaking of this standing for long periods of time, something that I like to talk about to people, if you're going to do that, if you're going to sit or if you're going to stand immobile, then you need to be taking some sort of blood thinner. And I personally like nattokinase.
Right. Natto Advantage is our product.
Right.
It actually contains the nattokinase is the main ingredient. Then it has the serrapeptidase for inflammation. And then it has rutin, which also strengthens vessels.
And
so the
that's
Natto
right.
Advantage that we have is something if you do sit a lot or stand a lot and you don't move around like you should, that is really good thing to take to prevent the DVTs and to help prevent some of the vascular problems. So
Right.
that's something that we both take it ourselves. I mean, we both take the Diavasc ourselves. So we
Yeah.
take a lot of prevention.
And have for years.
Yeah,
I'm
and we've
talking about, like,
always
40
stressed
years,
that
yeah.
prevention is what you want. You don't want to wait until there's a problem.
Right.
And also, we suggest if you sit a lot and stand a lot, make sure you exercise on when you're not working or when you're not doing what you have to do. We understand some people's jobs require it, but make sure you do get in your movement. And
Yes.
we have a lot of people now wearing the Fitbit and the watches and the different things that will show you how many steps you make.
Right.
So you need to make sure you're getting your steps in per day, whether you sit or stand for a living or not.
Right. That's very much so.
Yep.
So, the takeaway from this is, okay, we need to move. Well, yeah, that was, I guess that's kind of obvious, so to speak, but it is a good takeaway. And what was really interesting is like, okay, standing doesn't really do you any more benefit cardiovascularly, and it actually might increase your deep vein thrombosis risk and the varicosities or varicose veins.
Yep.
So, we need to move.
Right.
Basically is what it is.
So-
And, we always suggest, and even if you are moving,
Because a lot of people think that just because they get a standing desk, then they don't have to exercise because they're standing all day. Well, this kind of shows that that's not true.
No,
and so you need to still need to move. You still need to do your exercise just to actually prevent problems from happening.
exactly. So there you go. I think it's a kind of neat study. A lot of people involved in it. And I think it's a good takeaway because if you happen to be working at one of those jobs where you have to stand a lot or you've got a standing desk and so on, you need to be moving. Even if you just pick up your, somebody was
Stand
telling
in
me-
place. Yeah, walk in place.
Walk in place, yeah, just walking in place. Anything like that just keeps the blood flowing and so on. That's a good thing. And at the same time, think about something like that diosmin, great
Yep.
stuff. And think about that nattokinase or that
Natto
Advantage.
Advantage.
Really, really good for your cardiovascular health. And which is also good for your mental health too.
Yep.
Remember that.
Yep.
If it's good for your cardiovascular, it's good for the mental health as well. So hopefully you got a little bit out of this. We enjoyed you being here today with us, and hopefully you'll be back with us next time. We'll have some more tidbits for living a healthy lifestyle.